teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of sun. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me. Big time. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. That's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Do not adjust your screens. It is not noon, but yes, we have the hosts of Running Point with us here today to talk some hoops, talk some sports overall for the weekend. Anthony Hartwig and Ty Bartell. Also have the bear hunter himself, CJ Schroeds, with us in the far right screen. We have the new number 1 assistant coach on the Armaditas Kachina Power Ranking. We got EB Eric Bailey. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe for the first time ever in Power Hour history, we are joined by the head ball coach of the Heartland Christian Lions. We are joined by Josh Scott. What's up?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Coming at you from the man van. I like it. I like it. All right, boys, as we do each and every day on this day in sports history, this is an interesting one to me because 40 years ago to the day, Super Bowl happened in Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, Michigan. It was the San Francisco 49ers beating the Cincinnati Bengals 26-21. Your most valuable player, Joe Montana. And I'll tell you what, the coincidence is the Niners, Bengals, still in contention. Although, if you ask me, it's going to be the other two teams that end up in the Super Bowl in 3 weeks. But I digress. So, from that standpoint, guys, let's talk about this weekend just from a standpoint of sports in general. From Friday through Sunday night at about 10:30, it was probably to me the most wild weekend I can remember in sports where anything went. It was like the Royal Rumble in wrestling, the old school Royal Rumbles, where you could take chairs and, I mean, you just never knew what to expect. What was your favorite part of this sports weekend? Anthony, we'll start with you.
I think the best part of this weekend is it proved to everybody in the sports community that no matter what you're playing, you're never out of the game. I mean, we saw comebacks from Springfield down by 11 to Ursuline. They came back and won that game. West Branch was down by 10. They came back and made that a thrilling game at the end, but you know they could have given up at halftime. And you're never out of the game. You saw in the NFL, three underdogs went on the road in the divisional round and won the games, and then the favorite had the nail 6 inches in the coffin, and they can won the game. So you're never out of the game in sports. Is one of the things that we love about the games that we get to play and watch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. CJ, I know you probably had your eye on some scores all weekend. What was your favorite part of sports this entirety of the weekend?
I loved the last football game that was played yesterday between the Chiefs and the Bills. That was such an exciting game. It was probably one of the best football games I've ever watched. And it's just indicative of what we're going to be seeing for really the next decade plus. Pat Mahomes versus Josh Allen. That's going to be a very exciting matchup between those two for, like I said, the next 10 years.
We'll get into the ending of that game because there's a lot of controversy surrounding overtime rules and things of that nature. I want to talk to you guys, pick your brains about if you feel like overtime rules are wrong or they're right. I think they're okay, depending on who you're rooting for, I guess. So let's get to Josh. I think I can probably understand and guess, but let's get it straight from the Lion's mouth. What was your favorite part of this weekend?
Oh, Johnny Buckets, man, for sure. Getting the record, mostly because he had no clue about it. He actually heard from one of the officials.
It's the dreaded call in the middle of the sentence.
Donnie Ricketts, because they had mentioned it right at halftime. But yeah, that part was pretty cool. But I'm gonna be honest, the Chiefs Bills game was pretty incredible. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, that one was really fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, watching Jonathan and see his work pay off was definitely my favorite.
I love it. JB, we'll talk about that in a little bit because there's so much we can break down from that and the work ethic that young man has proven over the years and now is the new scoring king of Columbiana County. EB, just a shot in the dark. I'm guessing something about Saturday's game probably stood out to you this weekend.
You could probably guess right around about 3 p.m. when that final horn blew. That was probably my favorite moment. Definitely something that I'm never going to forget. And just to see, the reaction from the girls and the fans and everything that they got, as far as the excitement around, their win, they deserved it all, which, that was awesome for them. The student section from both sides, the game in general, like you said, it was like the Royal Rumble, Friday night, it was just one after another, and then here comes Saturday, and the horn goes, and here's this game, and then that game, and then NFL just kind of puts the icing on the cake. It was just a fun weekend in general.
All right, Ty, we got to get to you. And I mean, you watched seemingly everything that was going on. So what was your favorite takeaway?
I mean, kind of like what Anthony said, is that expect the unexpected, and anything is possible in the world of sports. And one of my favorite parts, aside from the NFL games, I thought both that NFC and AFC game were phenomenal on Sunday. But just rewind that back to Saturday, I think being at Camel and Cheney and being just present for that one, both stands were packed on both sides. And I mean, that gym got loud and that got rocking, and that was just two of the area's best going at it. And just being able to call that game and just being able to witness that game, I thought was a really cool moment too. And great game for Camel in that comeback victory.
All right, boys. So that is the highlights of the weekend from each person's standpoint. So let's get to some big indicators. For me, hearing and seeing, because I had no idea the record either, to be quite honest. I got the voicemail from Coach on, what was it? Was that Saturday night or Friday night? My whole weekend's blended together. Saturday night. And immediately went right to the graphics and made sure that we had the Johnny Buckets cut out and put it up there. What was it like in the building? I mean, that was a big game. That's the I guess the title of Columbiana's team for that particular year, the bragging rights, Josh. So when you look at that game, what I love most about Johnny Berdovich is the fact that he doesn't necessarily care about personal accolades as much as he cares about his team winning the game. So for him not to know about that doesn't surprise me, but it kind of excites me because he got a little bit of icing on top, if you would.
Yeah, it was actually it was a pretty electric atmosphere, honestly, because Columbiana travels well in general, but I do think there's like that nostalgia with this game. and coming back to their old gym. They had some Columbiana Hall of Famers that had come to watch and played in that gym. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the really cool part, is that with today's world where you get information instantaneously all the time, for a kid not to know that, it just goes to show that his priorities are definitely straight. And but no, the game itself, I mean, it was really cool. And to mention too, Coach Johnson, who I consider a friend,
Sure.
a good friend, he actually coached Jonathan in some fall league ball, so they had that connection too. So it was kind of neat, to be able to have both coaches have some hands-on time with JB.
I thought that was really cool, and to be honored at when it happened. I mean, Columbiana didn't know, and nobody really knew, because they tried to continue the play, and then the referees blew it off, and then everything kind of came to a head there. I know he's meant a lot to your program over the last few years. Talk to me about, when you think about it, not that you want to think about it necessarily, because, well, as we'll release in a few minutes, you guys are back in the power rankings here at the 10 spot. What does he mean to your team and your program, not just for being there, but for moving forward with a little bit of momentum for the Lions?
Yeah, you know what, he's been, from the moment, I've said this even getting into last year, from the moment that he came in and started working in the summer, he just set the bar at such a different level for the kids. And I think there's only so much that and how to work hard and all those different things. And he just set that bar in the summertime, and it's carried over, and our practices have been that good. It's a trickle down effect for sure. I'm having some technical difficulties again.
You're all good, brother. We'll kick it over. We were going to move it along to EB. EB for my goodness, what a game that you got to sit, front row for with that Salem West Branch game. It always is an unbelievable game. Always. Always, always, always. But on Saturday, it was another level. We had I wouldn't say a front row seat. We were like, 50 yards back. But at the same time, it was really cool to be able to call that the way it transpired. It was the three ball was working on Saturday, no doubt about it, but the defense was locked down as always. What did you see from your perspective?
Well, I mean, for those girls, they dug in, and resiliency, and honestly, they're a goofy bunch sometimes, and we figured out, those girls, you just got to let them be themselves and kind of let their personality shine. And I think most importantly is going into the game, they were excited, and that was huge. I remember, we huddle up before we go jump out for the jump ball, and Coach Hamilton, if you watch a film, she just looked at them all, and it wasn't anything about the game plan. It was just, guys, take a look around, listen to this crowd, just be present in this moment, and you guys have earned this, and this one's for you. So, go out and make sure you're going to remember it. And they definitely did. And like you said, the three ball was falling, which, the past couple of games we've been shooting well. Defense, we always like to hang our hat on the defense. And you know what? It's each different person, or there's a different person who stepped up at different points in that game. Whether it was a first half, Livy, she hit some big shots, and then you saw Abby Perry, she would hit a three, and then Abby Davidson and Jenna came in and drilled two, and Lainey got some good putbacks, and Cammie with a couple great defensive swats. She's really taken on the name of Swatzilla, and then we knew West Branch would make a run. They always do. They're a great coach team. They're one of the best teams in Northeast Ohio year in, year out. There's a reason why. And, we just had to be a little resilient and finish it at the free throw line.
I thought it was interesting that during the game, Sophie Gregory just was taken over on their side. I mean, it seemed like, and I don't know if this was the game plan or this just kind of how things fell into fruition, but you were going to let anybody score or nobody score except Sophie Gregory. It was, okay, we're going to play it out. If Sophie wants to score, she's going to do it. We're going to make her life difficult, but she was the only one, really, for West Branch that was able to penetrate and get buckets. Were you concerned at any point during that game whenever she was just basically taking over single-handedly for West Branch?
I think if you asked a lot of us, we definitely didn't want her to score. She's just a phenomenal talent, and she went off. I mean, to think that girl is only a sophomore, it's going to be ridiculous how good she is when it's all said and done. She's 16 years old, and she's got moved to that position, that point guard position, and she's still figuring some things out. I'm telling you what, give her another couple months or another year. She's going to be, probably one of the best players in the area if she isn't already. And, we didn't want her to score. She's just very, very talented. And some of the shots that she made, I think there's this one, she went down and she kind of almost double pumped it, went up left-handed. You can't defend that. Yeah. She's especially... she's a 6'1" point guard on the girls' side. There's a lot of boys' teams around here who would love to have a 6'1" point guard. So, everyone else just knew they had a job. And later on in that fourth quarter, Abby Davidson kind of took had a stint at her. We threw Cammie Rome because Cammie Rome, we figured we could play off a little bit more on Gregory just because she was beating us with the drive. And I thought Cameron did a phenomenal job. I only held her to about 4 points when she ripped off it seemed like a million, but I think it was about 9 in a row. So it was just a collective effort and really the hustle plays and rebounding. We came up big in the different facets of the game that really helped us.
No, that was big, and congratulations again on the win. I mean, coming down to the free throws at the end, once again, it was McClutch, and I believe it was Riley Hutton with that three ball that she was fouled on. So
my favorite part of Riley, she shoots at three, she gets knocked down, and literally all 4 other girls just ran right over to pick her up, and they had all the confidence in the world, and I think Abby hit one. She hit the first one of a 1-and-1, and then as you call her, Jenna McClutch, you can tell she just gets that look in her eye when there's about under 2 minutes, and she wants the ball.
So I have an interesting story about Riley Hutton. As her dad kind of gave me the heads up on this, and it kind of tied into the end of the game on Saturday. Was let me see if I can find it because I don't want to mess it up. Here it is. So he wanted to tell me something that was kind of cool about the game on Saturday. So Rob took Riley to the Centerplex on Friday, late afternoon, to shoot and go over some things for the West Branch game. His dad is a basketball junkie, loves to help Riley out anytime and that he gets a chance. He played at Mount Union and was a 4-year starter. He also was Rob's coach in high school, which was kind of neat. His health not very good right now, but he will never miss Riley playing. And he wanted to go with them to shoot free throws and just shoot around. And just as Riley thought she was finished for the day, her grandfather asked her, "Are you sure you're finished?" And he said, "You don't leave without putting yourself in a game situation." So he had her go to the free throw line with the score tied and knock down 2 free throws. Had her do it 10 times in a row. So after the big game yesterday, she went right over to him and gave him a big hug and thanked him for having her go into those high-pressure situations, which ultimately gave Salem a big victory over West Branch. So I thought that was unbelievable. Also want to give a quick shout-out to Darlene Hutton, who is not doing so well, part of obviously Riley's family, and can always watches YSN and loves the commentaries. So the Hutton family, very strong and very supportive of YSN, but I thought that was a great story and a tie-in as to family kind of leading one family into another family, your real family into your basketball family, and I thought that was fantastic. So awesome. Congratulations again, EP, a big win, and I guess... Well, let's go with the games that are not happening tonight, and then we'll go to the power rankings. So Coach Scott can make sure that he's in a safe place to celebrate. Hopefully he can hear it. So, all right, the games not happening here on this Monday. Southern at Lisbon, done. Crestwood at Wyndham, done. Sebring at Jackson Milton, done. Brookfield at Crestview, done. Camel at LeBray, out. Champion at Garfield, out. Lakeside at East, out. Leetonia at Valley, out. Newton Falls at Liberty, out. Salem at Ursuline is done. South Range at Poland is done. Struthers at Lakeview is done. United at Columbiana is done. Tri-C at Warren JFK, that's no longer happening. Waterloo at McDonald is done. Wellsville at East Palestine is done. Western Reserve at Louisville is done. And finally, Talmadge at Austintown Fitch. Ty, you get the night off. So, what is happening, you might ask, at this point? Mineral Ridge at Springfield, to this point, is still happening. Now, if you look out your window to the snow globe that's going on, we'll see how it goes. But we'll keep you up to date on ysnlive.com. Hubbard at Girard, still happening. Noah Ricks is going to have the call for you. Noah Doty has the call for you in Springfield. And I believe that's it. That is all that's left, other than the game we've already had at 1:30, which I think is wrapped up, if I'm not mistaken, by now. The Lordstown and Badger game at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Anthony.
No, I was going to say Springfield wants that game to happen because J.C. Mullen is 12 points away from 1,000 in her career as a junior. So they're trying to get that game to happen as fast as possible.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Games like that, and we called the game with Lexi Giles. There's so much on those games. And I'm sure, Coach Scott knows the same. Whenever you're coaching those games, you know what's going to happen. You just want it to happen so fast so you can get back to normalcy. So I'm sure that Springfield and Tiger Nation wants that game to happen tonight. By any means necessary, get it on, get it over, and let's keep pushing towards the tournament that I think, Anthony, you said the drawings are due tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Fish and Blanche are both going to turn in their records after tonight's game, so... and I believe the brackets will be out by Sunday. So,
that'll be fun.
You
always do such a good job on kind of doing a story on all the brackets and how you think things will go. So, looking forward to that as we do each and every year. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we want to introduce you to this week's Power Rankings, brought to you by Armidas Kachina. Make sure you're booking Armidas Kachina for your graduation party today. Perfect for home graduation parties or any other outdoor setting. Amazing, unique foods, including their famous stuffed peppers, delicious chicken sandwiches, and more. They can even bring music to turn your party into a party. Visit armidaskachina.com or on Facebook, or just call 330-787-1932. EB, you and I got to take get some Armidas Kachina last week at Birdfish. Mwah! It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. Look, I think the chicken sandwich is like this.
I don't know. Watching Tori's mom get that steak sandwich, that thing's been living rent free in my head for about 3 or 4 days now. So they need to make another appearance so I can go grab that.
Bring it on back. They'll tell you where they're at. ArmidasKachina.com. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Week 8 of the Power Rankings. This week's Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. Perfect for your graduation party. If you're looking to make a splash this graduation season, make sure you book Armidas Kachina at ArmidasKachina.com. Week 8 is here, and the shakeups we've seen here as we head down the home stretch. Salem, who dropped last week, jumps back into the 1 position after a big win at West Branch at home. So now Salem back in the driver's seat at the 1 spot. Louisville at 2, they move up from 4. West Branch falls down to 3. Howland from 6 to 4. Poland slides down from 3 to 5. Liberty all the way from 1 to 6. Garfield stays in position at 7. Waterloo bounces from 9 to 8. Canfield, and then Springfield. It's Campbell Memorial leading the boys again with a big victory, making them 12-1, number 1 overall. East Liverpool at 12-3 holds on strong at the 2 spot. Springfield still undefeated after a big win over Ursuline at 14-0. They stay strong at 3. West Branch at the 4 spot at 11-2. Louisville sliding up from 7 to 5 at 10-4. Cheney at 11-6 finds the 6th spot. Then it's Poland making their debut again here on the Power Rankings at 7. Cardinal Mooney up from 9 to 8. Louisville back on the map at 9, and Heartland Christian is back on at 10. As always, Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. Get your graduation party scheduled now. All right, so we take a look at the girls' side of the power rankings for Week 8. EB, I know there was a ton of people that were absolutely steaming that Salem fell from grace from 1 all the way down to 5, but it only took one game to get you back in that pilot spot at number 1 with that win over West Branch. When you look at this, guys, it's any given week. Now, we should take we should encapsulate that you're not going to go from off the charts to number 1 overnight. But we've seen people jump from off the charts to 6 or off the charts to as high as 5 based on who they've defeated. But you look at this, I think this is the best power rankings we've had to this point in the year, and it only took us 8 weeks to get there. So when you look at this, EB, I know that you're not frustrated necessarily with Salem and where they're at, but you look at 2 through 10, can you agree to where everybody else fell based on where you guys are?
I mean, I kind of take us out of it.
Sure.
But Louisville has to be the hottest team in the area. Between them and Howland right now. You know, I was thinking of the other day, not long ago, Howland was sitting at 4-5 or 5-5 and or something like that. Their only loss, I think, in the past 3 or 4 weeks was to Hoban, which rightfully so is probably the best team in the state. Howland and Louisville has to be the 2 hottest teams. West Branch is always West Branch. Walt does such a phenomenal job with them. They're always going to be, where they're at. Poland, outside of their slip up to Struthers, which, Blanche does phenomenal. And, I think it was just kind of how the week fell. No one really thought, Poland. Donnie called the Liberty game, where he felt they might slip up to Brookfield, but it's that point of the year too where you get, I don't want to say you get in that rut, but this is where you start to see the records don't always reflect how good some of these other teams are too. Canfield's always solid. Waterloo I haven't gotten to see too much of, nor have I seen too much of the Garfield, but just those smaller schools, it's nothing that they do. A lot of my teams spent breaking down film, and a lot of these teams all play each other anyway, so I get to see a lot more of them. But I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll even say with one, you could probably make a case for any one of those 6 teams, and rightfully so. You're gonna anger someone, but that's because they're such good programs.
Anthony, I'll turn it over to you real quick. 30 seconds on where you think this shook out.
No, this is almost identical to the way I actually voted. I mean, you look at it, the only changes I had in my voting is I flipped Howland and West Branch and made Howland 3 and West Branch 4, and I kept Liberty ahead of Poland only because they both lost this week, and there was nothing that really Poland did that all of a sudden go above Liberty. And plus, Saturday, Liberty bounced back pretty nicely against a 12-2 team, beat them 72-37. So those are the only 2 things that I had different, but this is a really good power rankings, and it almost mirrored my voting too. So I'm very happy with it. I think Canfield stays in there. They're talented enough. They play the schedule. They'll be low in the rankings, but I don't see any way they come out of the top 10 unless they start really struggling.
All right, let's turn it over to the boys' side where, well, if you look at number 10 making their way back into the power rankings, it is Heartland Christian with an 11-3 record. Coach Scott, when you look at this, I know it's not exactly what you're fighting for and what you're playing for, but it's got to be cool to be among some of these teams.
That's the easiest way to put it. It's really cool, but it's certainly not something that we talk about or because ultimately in our mind, these are obviously opinion-based and
sure,
all those things. But I mean, we definitely appreciate it, and it's really neat for the kids because they do work so hard, and to be mentioned with some of those teams on that list, it's incredible. And I'll add too, just listening to the Salem West Branch girls talk. I graduated from West Branch. It would have been 20 years ago that I was in that student section, and I was watching the call on the game for the last quarter and a half with the West Branch Salem game, and it's really cool to see that rivalry back or just continued, I guess I should say, because there's been lots of games over the years, but Congrats to Salem. I mean, I hate to say it, but EB, but good job. That was a really, really good game. But anyway, for the boys' side, yeah, it's awesome to be there.
When you look at some of these teams, I mean, Camel Memorial to me came out of nowhere this year. You know what I mean? They were not on the power rankings, I don't believe, when they first started, and then all of a sudden they just broke through, and now they're sitting as the top dog. A huge win over Cheney. Ty, are you still there? I can't tell if he's there or not. Yeah, there he is. Ty, when you look at that Camel Cheney game, what impressed you so much about our top-ranked Camel Memorial Red Devils?
Resiliency is the perfect way to put it, and I mean, you could tell that just with the maturity of this team alone. They start usually about 4 seniors, and they got a couple more on the bench. But when you go down 11 to a Cheney team that is run and gun, turns defense into offense so well, you could pretty much book that for a lot of teams too. It's very hard to get back into a game against Cheney. But a third quarter where they won it 22-6, and Kevin Moore absolutely lighting it up from behind the arc and just doing all the little things right too. And containing Clive Wilson was the biggest thing, I think, in that second half, because Clive, as you know, I mean, he's a big man too, and he is a problem down low in the post with rebounds and just beating you on the block and just boxing guys out, just playing brute strength. And they did a good job of not letting him dominate the offensive boards and give Cheney a bunch of second chance points. I think just the adjustments that this team made on the fly and their adjustment to come back and beat at that time number 4 Cheney was very impressive, and I think it's well deserving that they're still in the top spot.
Jeff Collins was pissed during your show, guys, and he's still mad. He says, I have a hard time understanding how Louisville jumped from 7 to 5 when they got destroyed by Marlington. Canfield and West Branch both beat Marlington. Canfield isn't even on the power rankings. Point well taken, but the voters said otherwise. They were impressed by the wins, I guess, that Louisville had last week. And I'll be honest, I think Louisville has been kind of sneaking in the shadows for some time here. And Anthony, I think you said it best earlier today when you said it's because a lot of the voters don't see the teams that Louisville's playing. Otherwise, it's Canfield and West Branch. But you look at that, and that goes a long way in the voting. And is it a little bit biased? I'm sure it is. However, at the end of the day, they've got some really, really valuable wins that I think that they're in the right spot right now at the number 5. And I think they've been kind of downplayed for the first 7 weeks, if we're being quite honest. So interesting to see it, and that's definitely not the real Quinn Pushkar. But agreed, I have a hard time moving up Louisville when they got blown out by Marlington. And then we see nice to see Louisville in the power rankings. Let's not forget they have that head-to-head over Camel. Still have a hard time with Louisville moving up. Now, see, this is where it gets crazy because, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, Heartland has a win over Louisville. So you can't just say this team beat this team, because if you do that, it's just going to be a mishmash.
It's impossible to do the score game, especially when you're trying to prepare and everything. Oh, this team beat that team, and it's all about matchups, really. So
yeah, it's. I mean, that's a big win for you guys. When you write your signature wins down, Louisville has to be among those wins on your list there. Aaron Mosier says Marlington is really good. 2 losses to Canfield and West Branch. They were up by double digits to Canfield and lost. Marlington would beat most teams in the YSN. Okay, Amo. Okay, I see you. However, Marlington not in YSN, so we can't say that. So, I mean, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, then I would be 7'2". So let's go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we still have a ton of stuff that I want to talk about. Overtime rules in the NFL being number 1 priority, because I want to hear from you guys. Do you like what happened last night? Do you like the way it transpired? I know at least one of you does. The other, especially CJ, I want to hear your take on overtime rules in the NFL. Do they need to be changed? Do they need to be the college rules? Or do they need to be something different? Or should it just be another period of play? We're going to find out after we take this break on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley and my buddies along with you. We got Anthony, CJ, Josh, EB, and Ty is lingering around there somewhere. Guys, the overtime rules in the NFL. Okay, it's been long debated, and last night I think it came to a head. Anthony, we'll go to you first, since it is logistically it's your team that you followed since you followed. Was it the Packers? You were a Packers fan?
When I was a wee lad, I was trying to be different. And I like the Packers.
Yeah, wee lad, as in right after they got rid of Brett Favre. Let's go. Do you think that the overtime rule is, I don't want to say right or wrong. Do you think that it could use improvement, or do you like it the way it is?
How am I going to talk about this without sounding biased? I don't know. No, I remember being on the wrong end of the overtime rules in 2018. I remember wanting Patrick Mahomes to get the ball back when Tom Brady went down the field and scored the game-winning touchdown. And I empathize with the people that are saying Josh Allen needs to get the ball in overtime. I mean, everyone outside of Chiefs fans wanted to see Josh Allen get the ball back in overtime. I don't think it should be college rules. I don't. I think if you give a professional team the ball at the 25, who's going to stop them there? I would like to see if it is going to change, which I don't think it ever will. I mean, the Chiefs proposed it to be changed back in 19. It got shut down by everybody. I don't think it'll ever get changed. But if it was, I'd like to see like a 10-minute period. Just go, hey, we're going to play for 10 more minutes. Whoever has the lead after this 10 minutes, then that's the overtime period. I don't want it to be the same as college. I think college rules have to cater to a lot of teams that don't have NFL talent. So that's why it has to be kind of give them the ball to 20 and see what they can do. The professional game has to be a little bit harder. So I don't like college rules, but I would be okay with a 10-minute period.
Okay. I'm along those same lines. I want to see him play an extra quarter. I don't think anybody – I don't want to say anybody doesn't get hurt, because you know they will, but I don't think it hurts the game or dulls it down, waters it down. So, Ty, your thoughts on this? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the overtime period, since your team usually is the one that benefits from it.
Yeah, they usually do too. It's all about winning the coin toss. Usually, is all it is for New England for the last few years, at least in overtime rules. But no, I mean, for the game of football, I think it would be better if they did something like an extra quarter, or maybe like a Texas shootout. I mean, everybody just wants to see, I think, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen go at it until one just gives way and one is better for that night. And I mean, when Josh Allen doesn't get to touch the ball, it is unfortunate. But I mean, like Anthony said, I mean, these are the way the rules have been for years. I don't know if it is going to get changed, but I do like the proposed extra quarter idea, just to give them, I mean, all that madness that happened leading up into the fourth, just add all that tension for another whole quarter and just run it back. That'd be a lot of fun.
I saw a picture of a final score after 19 overtimes. If the NFL changed the rules,
Right.
it was 120 to 119. So I don't know, man. I'm interested about this next take because I know CJ's got a lot of pent up aggression about some things, especially when it comes to Pittsburgh sports. But when you look at this, CJ, are they doing it right? Or are they doing it just because they need to stay within a contained time frame for commercial sake?
That's probably what they're doing it for, but I can't stand the overtime rule as it is right now. I think it really is just a crime that we got robbed of getting to watch Josh Allen perform at least for one more drive in the postseason. But I'm kind of on the fence whether or not you add an extra quarter because, quite frankly, the games are long enough. I like the way they do it in college. I like, put together your best drive, put you on the 20-yard line, best drive. If you have the better score by the end, then good, you won. But both teams absolutely have to have a chance, just a chance. You can't allow a coin toss to win that game. And at that point, the defenses were both exhausted. So whoever won that coin toss was just going to win. So it was just it's a shame that's how it had to end. But maybe this is finally when we get to talk about maybe we should just change the freaking rule and get it over with.
Josh, you said you liked what you saw last night. Would you change anything in the overtime?
Absolutely. That was a crime, what happened. But, I just look at it like, think of all the rules changes that have happened over the last decade even. And it's catering to more points than scoring. And all of a sudden I just go, okay, well, we're going to flip a coin in a passing league that is based off of scoring now and excitement. I mean, I kind of actually, I didn't think of it this way, but since you guys have mentioned it, the quarter play, and I get it, timing and being on TV and all that, I get it, but I think they've got to do something because watching that was it was a shame. And I'm a Browns fan, so I don't care. I mean, what do I know about the playoffs, right? But watching that as a completely unbiased fan, it was like, wow, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, as a Browns fan, you know a lot about watching the playoffs.
Get the dig in there.
EB, your thoughts on overtime? Should they change anything?
They need to change something. It doesn't have to. It just needs to be subtle, right? Like it shouldn't come down to a coin toss. I mean, hell, what can I say? Patrick Mahomes tied it up with 13 seconds, and Dak lost it in 14. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, and I get it, like Coach said, it's tailored towards the points and everything, all that now. But maybe you don't do it the college way, but you hybrid it a little bit to where instead of starting at the 25, you start at the opposite 20, and you each get a possession, or something along the lines. There's got to be a mix. I don't know what it is. It's obviously way above my pay grade, nor do I care enough about NFL football when it comes down to it, because those guys are making millions compared to me. Now, I think it would have been nice to see Josh Allen, get a crack at it, but it is what it is.
I was more impressed last night with Josh Allen than I was Patrick Mahomes. And I mean that because I think that the supporting cast really took over for the Chiefs, whereas Josh Allen made some unbelievable plays. Like, put it on his shoulders. They were going to win or lose based on 17. And I know, Anthony, that's probably not the way you feel, but especially in those last couple of drives, I mean, it was your guy 10 and 87 coming through in the clutch.
I thought they were equal. I can't say Josh Allen was better. I can't say Patrick Mahomes was better. I thought that was two very amazing quarterbacks that are just going toe-to-toe with each other. I mean, neither one flinched in high-pressure situations, which is really hard to do when you're a 25-year-old quarterback, to not flinch when the other team just took a 64-yard touchdown and took the lead with a minute left. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's hard to not flinch. Neither one flinched. Both of them made really good plays. I mean, Patrick Mahomes makes that 18-yard touchdown run dive to the pylon. I hope we see it. The AFC is loaded with young quarterbacks. We also have Justin Herbert in there and Joe Burrow in the AFC. So it's not going to be like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, where those two were the only two guys, and we knew it was going to come down to them.
Whoa. There was another guy in there somewhere.
Okay. But back in that, when it started, when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning started, it was like every time those two got together, it was like, this is the rivalry. I don't know if it'll always come down to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I think Herbert and Burrow will have something to say about it. Obviously, this year, Burrow still has something to say about it.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's going to have anything to say about it, to be honest with you. I'm not sold on the Bengals, with all due respect. Like, I love Joe Burrow. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think he's one of the faces of the league. I'm not so sure that they're going to fare much better than the Steelers did against Kansas City, to be quite honest with you.
One could hope.
I'm sure, Anthony, until the Chiefs stink again and you go back to the Packers or go somewhere else. Let's go. Jeff Howard, my guy, says go to college overtime rules. He says, I'm angry, but not anymore because I just won the Sugar Bowl with Nevada in the NCAA Dynasty mode. So I'll tell you what, he is making his way around like Lane Kiffin because he goes from one team to the next, and now he's in Nevada. So congratulations, Jeff Howard, who also says, oh, and I beat Georgia Tech, Anthony's team, with a pretzel.
With a pretzel.
I don't know what that.
I don't know what the pretzel is.
I've never seen the pretzel emoji used. Ron Johnson approves this message. From Sol Volcano, also of the Impractical Jokers, who apparently watch the Ysn Power Hour daily. So, interesting takes, guys. I'm really... What would you like at a local level if we had to go to overtime and it was just the team that got the ball and if they score, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. I don't think so if it doesn't work at the high school level or the local level, how do we expect it to work at the national level? Any thoughts on that? I'll take whoever wants to raise their hand.
I think the point is when you go to the NFL, it's got to be harder, right? So it's a little bit easier for offenses. Everyone gets a chance in high school and in college. But in the NFL, it's like if you don't stop them from getting in the end, it used to be field goal. Like, remember when it was field goal wins the game, period? So these offenses had to drive 30 yards, and it was basically game over. But now it's like if you stop them from getting in the end zone, you have a chance. And we've seen a lot of teams do that and get the ball back. It was just last night, both defenses were gassed by the fourth quarter, and you kind of knew in that particular game that it was kind of over at the coin toss. But we've seen a lot of NFL games not go that way, where the team stops them from getting in the end zone, they get the ball back, ends in a tie, or the other team gets a touchdown and they win the game. So if you're going to go to college, what I like about college is teams have to go for two. Because I think that's the only way you don't just see the teams keep tying each other up.
Oh, you're saying they have to go for two and then they go the other way? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
otherwise, it's like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are just going to trade blows for the rest of the night.
What is going on in the chat today? That's all I want to know. We got the Impractical Jokers.
I like that on the Power Hour we've accumulated like this nice little group of burner accounts that just go back and forth, and
I like it.
That's the best part.
I think I would be more impressed if it was all the same person just talking on different computers.
starting combos with themselves.
I think it'd be fantastic. I don't think that's the way it is, but I think it'd be fantastic. Amo says, what are we saying if Patty scores, then Allen scores, then Patty scores? Are we still complaining that Allen didn't have a chance? No, I think we're trying to say they keep going, right?
I wouldn't mind that actually if both get a chance and then you start so
now the defense after
now the defenses actually have to come in and actually do their job, or else I actually don't mind that, because then you have Josh Allen, he got his chance, he beat it, his defense blew it.
But isn't that what happened in regulation?
Well, true, but
true.
That's very true. They shouldn't have blown it 13 seconds.
So what if like Josh Allen gets the ball back, he goes and scores, and then after that next score wins, period?
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Hey.
What if you
I'm
tie,
just
you
more
both lose?
upset. Yeah, I'm just more upset that Allen didn't have a chance. Is my gripe.
I didn't have. Well, I was rooting like 51-49 for the Bills, and only because of what Josh Allen did in Buffalo. Like only because of the person that he is and the person he's becoming. I really am starting to be just as a role model attracted to Josh Allen and what he brings to the table. Not that I take anything away from any of the Chiefs. Anthony knows how I feel about Tyreek Hill, but I digress.
But we're talking about quarterbacks. I think both guys are great faces of the league.
Here's the question, Anthony, because I know you saw it, and I was probably the first person that came to your mind whenever it happened. Tyreek Hill, on the way to the end zone, throws this guy up again.
I thought it was going to be taunting. I was like, uh-oh, here comes the flag.
That was the face of the taunting rule that was supposed to come into effect this year. He does it in a high pressure situation, and nobody says a word about it.
I thought it was coming. I was like, uh-oh, he's in it. I don't know why they didn't. I have no idea. Maybe he didn't extend it far enough. I don't know. But it wouldn't have taken away the touchdown. It just would have made the PAT harder.
Mike, please don't take offense to that. We just enjoy the burner accounts going back and forth. Is there a legitimate answer to this, or are we just going to have to do this year after year because it keeps the NFL relevant at the water cooler? Josh, I mean, would you, from a PR perspective, wouldn't you rather people talk about this, about what went right, and have the ratings to go with it, and then talk about the overtime and what went wrong?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's like I think we all agree something. Almost all of us agree something has to be done, right? But yeah, I think the fact that they have to talk about that afterwards is just a bad look.
It's true. It's very true. All right, do you know how the sparks work, Josh, around here?
No.
Okay, so the spark it's brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric, and you can put something on a pedestal, or you can cut something down, and you can do one positive, one negative, whatever you want to do. We'll let you go somewhere in the middle, so that way you have a couple to base your stuff off of. But it's basically you have the chance to put something in the limelight for good or bad. I know you're a positive guy, so I'm imagining you're going to do a positive spark. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's everybody's favorite time of the day. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Today's spark, as always, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric, proudly powering the Mahoning Valley for over 60 years. Head over to DickeyElectric.com and get your stuff, whether it's residential, commercial, anything electrical. Joe Dickey Electric and DickeyElectric.com. Let's go. Ty, do you have a spark? Do you want to give a hardcore spark here?
Yeah, I'll give a spark just to our area teams this week, too, and this last weekend for just a great weekend of sports, too. I mean, on top of the fact that we got to see the growth of all these young athletes, too, and got to witness them all in the spotlight, I mean, just providing entertainment for all these communities, too, for hours on end this entire week. And we had so many great games, so many come-from-behind wins from both the boys and girls side of things. It was a great weekend of sports at the local level, too. And I think thanks goes out to all of our local area athletes.
Antonio?
Mine is not exactly like recent, but since I don't get on here a lot, I'm going to take the time to do it. I want to give a shout out to Carla Blankenfort for doing a really good interview from Jackson Milton, coming all the way over here from Barcelona, Spain. The things that she had to do to get over here, the work she had to put in to get a scholarship to get over here. It's just an amazing story, one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, and one of the heartbeats of that Jackson Milton girls basketball team. So I want to give a positive spark to that, her family that's proudly watching Ysn from Barcelona, Spain, and I hope they're having a great time this year.
EB?
Positive spark. Definitely. Friday got to go down and watch, obviously, Lisbon and Columbia boys. Just the amount of money that they raised for the We Fight game, that was awesome, especially since we'll be able to give that back. And to no one's surprise, the ovation that they gave to Daly, who was there, it was his first public appearance since his accident no more than a week before. It was great to see him in good spirits, and it looks like it's probably going to be a full recovery and everything for him. And the ovation and everything just shows, how close our communities are, and we might be rivals on the court and everything, but just how much we support the kids that are around here in this area as well.
CJ.
So MLB and their Players Association are meeting, I guess, right now. I'm not gonna say nothing bad about it, but because I haven't really gotten a chance to see what happened. But apparently tomorrow they're gonna meet again, so that's good news that at least the two sides are meeting back-to-back days and not going home and just pondering for a month.
Josh.
I hope I'm still in good reception here and I'm not having my technical difficulties, but I think this spark can go either way. Just talking about tournaments and draw and everything, and we were helping with the girls. The positive spark is that the districts are at least back to a neutral site, but I'm going to cut it down too because I am not a fan of not playing neutral from sectional on. But I am excited for Struthers and even Grand Valley to get back to tournament basketball this year for the boys' side. The girls, in their respective places too. So that would be mine. It goes both ways.
I love it. I'll finalize everything today. I want to give a shout out and a positive spark to the athletic directors and superintendents too. Yes, don't adjust your sets. The ones that are canceling games tonight. The safety of student athletes, their parents, for everybody from top down that want to go and attend these games, being first priority is it's a hard thing to do because you want to get these games in. You want the revenue stream that comes with it. You want everything so you don't have to reschedule. It just means more work and more work and more work and more time. But I give a tip of the cap and the positive spark today to those who are making the decisions that aren't necessarily the most popular, but the ones that are right because of the safety of your people and those that are coming. Because the last thing this area needs, or any area needs right now, is another tragedy at the top of the headline. So I appreciate everybody that, and listen, it does us no good that there are no games or limited games, but I'm so happy to know that the kids and the parents and the fans are safe tonight and not having to travel in the snowstorm that we have. So wanted to say thank you to Josh Scott. I know he got busted out because he had some bad reception. Want to say thank you to him for stopping by. And also, as always, wanted to say thank you to you guys. Ty, Anthony, thank you. I know you guys, it's a long day for you because you got a 2-hour show from 12 to 2 every day. So thank you for stopping by and being part of it. We love having you here and love having you here at YSN. CJ, I know you're probably not going bear hunting today, but I appreciate you stopping by as always, brother. We'll take you whenever we can get you, especially with your baseball season right around the corner. And EB, always a pleasure, my friend. One of my best friends, and appreciate you popping by for the Power Hour today. That's going to do it for us. Anthony, I'll take one out of yours. We're going to take a 23-hour break. We'll be back on Tuesday with more Power Hour after after this, I guess. I don't want to, I don't know. Just hit it.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network.